How you doing, good people? This is the 8-Bit Animal. Okay, so Midway. Midway is responsible, or was responsible, for some of the best arcade titles of all time. From Defender to Joust, Blaster, Root Beer Tapper, Robotron, Smash TV, Mortal Kombat, The Grid, goes on and on and on. They were also responsible for today's title. This game is a port of a fairly popular Midway title from the very early 90s, very late 80s. It's the sequel to an extremely popular Midway title from the late 80s. And this version is published by Arena Entertainment, which, along with Flying Edge, was an offshoot or a label attached to Acclaim Entertainment. Today's game is Super High Impact. Now, Super High Impact is, the arcade version of Super High Impact had a really distinct gameplay feature in that you performed all your actions with the joystick and one action button. So pretty much you move, tap the button when you want to do something. The home version of Super High Impact, actually it eschewed that, and you had more than one button for different actions, which was cool because it gave you more freedom and fluidity with what you wanted to do, but it complicated things, and that was one of the draws of Super High Impact, was that it was an easy to play game. You have several teams, Chicago, Pittsburgh, traditional NFL cities, as well as Team Canada, and Team Europa, which is Team Europe, and Team Africa. Because Africa isn't a known place for football, American style football, that is, Team Africa tended to be one of the weaker teams in the game, along with Team Europa. This game is a lot of fun. If you go back and really pay attention to what's going on in this game with the really big hits, the offbeat attitude, it wasn't taking itself too seriously. The hit meter, when you hit an opponent on occasion, this meter would pop up, and with this guy, and depending on how high the meter went, you got a reaction out of the guy. Sometimes he would point and laugh, sometimes he would just yell something, or whatever. This game also featured fights. If you hit the same opponent with the same player more than once, it would eventually trigger a fight. And where the fights worked, you would see a couple of the players, squaring off with each other, and there was a meter, and you would mash the buttons until your meter, and whoever's meter got to the top fastest wins. Super High Impact, for all intents and purposes, if you really pay attention to it and everything that was going on, like I said, it was essentially the predecessor to the NFL Blitz franchise. And that's a pretty good pedigree to lead up to, because the Blitz games were iconic arcade football titles, as well as Super High Impact is. So if you're looking for something that doesn't take itself as seriously as the simulation titles like John Madden Football or Joe Montana Football, you can pick up a copy of Super High Impact. Now, Super High Impact, it was on Super NES and Genesis, and the only differences were probably the graphic resolution, and that wasn't really that different. It's, I would say, a fairly easy game to find. Pretty much everything that I show you, for the most part, will not be hard to find. And Super High Impact is an incredibly not hard game to find. And if you're looking, like I said, if you're looking for something to just pick up and play, you should give Super High Impact a run. It's a pretty fun little romp. And it's a distraction from the seriousness of more traditional football titles. This has been the 8-Bit Animal. Now I'll catch you beautiful people tomorrow.